Bernie Sanders went on ABC News and talked about the upcoming challenges of getting a bill through the Senate, which obviously is a 50-50 split with Kamala Harris as the tiebreaker, and how that's going to be a challenge. So Biden has been trying to has been floating that they're going to try to push the COVID relief bill through in a bipartisan manner. That seems unlikely. The second option is reconciliation. But here's Bernie's take on it.
I have no problem with reaching out to Republicans. I would prefer to do it that way. But if we hear very early on that Republicans do not want to act in a way that meets the needs of working people in this country or the middle class, sorry, we're going to do it alone. The truth of the matter is that Republicans used budget reconciliation over the years to provide massive tax breaks to the rich, to try to repeal the Affordable Care Act. We're going to use it to protect working families and the middle class of this country.
Okay, so the thing about reconciliation is, and I'm going to critique Bernie here, you get one bill through reconciliation every fiscal year, and it could only deal with financing and budgetary concerns. So the COVID relief package could go through reconciliation. But things like the anti-corruption, pro-democracy bill, HR1, which would be S1, that is really transformative and would be really important to rooting out corruption in our government, which obviously every Republican is united behind their corporate donors and will oppose. You can't get that through reconciliation. You need a 60-40 to get past a 60-40 filibuster. And I don't know if Bernie has updated his view on filibuster reform. I was kind of neutral on that when he was standing firm on not abolishing the filibuster. But I don't really know what he's talking about, Democrats being able to do anything alone outside of one massive bill a year if you're not abolishing the filibuster.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me that the filibuster is not even in the Constitution. It's just something that they started doing, most famously to block efforts at integration after the Civil War. And then it's just the law of the land now. Like what?
Yeah, I mean,
Calhoun, baby.
Right. And it's like,
do you guys hate our democratic norms? I mean, really, come on now.
I don't not hate them.
And it's so the filibuster, it's such a colloquial term, and people don't really understand the procedural effects it has on killing anything that's going to be positive for people. But again, I still don't understand Bernie's position on this. So, I mean, I think he's talking more specifically about the targeted COVID package, but like, we have no choice. Republicans play hardball with everything. And the one thing standing in the way there of, them blocking a lot of the things that we want, like say we got rid of the filibuster, we could pass reform on elections and getting dark money out tomorrow if we didn't have the filibuster based on this 50-50 split. $15 minimum wage, you could potentially put that through reconciliation, but I think that might be hard. It's like the language is it's flimsy, but like $15 minimum wage, you could get the caucus together on that really quickly and you could pass that. So there are a bunch of things. I mean, a more robust climate package that could combat things. These are important key things. And I don't know how you can do it alone if you don't get rid of that. And importantly, it seems like at least a significant majority of the Senate, the Democratic senators, including Chuck Schumer, haven't committed to we're not going to touch filibuster reform right now.
Yeah, let's be really clear on what the filibuster does, right? And how it's connected here, because the Democrats have half of the Senate plus one, right? Kamala Harris is the tie-breaking vote. And the way that the Constitution intended it to be, you are only supposed to need that much of a majority to pass things through the Senate. What the filibuster does is it raises the threshold to 60% of the Senate, making it much, much harder for Democrats to do anything in this scenario.
And what's crazy about it too, Jamie, is like the filibuster, you also were supposed to be able to just go stand on the Senate floor and then actually filibuster, right? Now you can just basically send an email and threaten to filibuster, and then it kills the bill in its DOA before it even gets to the Senate floor. Like, that's how powerful that stupid damn procedural rule has become. And it's an impasse. We can't have what we need to have as a country without abolishing the filibuster. And if that comes back to bite Democrats in the ass, and it may, but like, you have to be aggressive here. And
yeah, well, then the Democrats might actually have to do something, right?
Right. Well, exactly. It's almost like built-in hurdles. And so, but like, again, this is the position of the most progressive member of the Senate. So like, I don't understand it, but
well, he's been in the Senate for a really long time.
Yeah.
He is an institutionalist.
And to be fair to him, maybe he's updated his position on this, because right now it's never been clearer that there needs to be reform in this area. Outside of these relief packages, outside of tax and spend and whatever, there needs to be more that's provided for the American people. And selfishly, for the Democratic Party, like, I know maybe some of them don't really care about actually helping people. Like Kirsten Sinema comes to mind as a completely craven politician on the Democratic side in the Senate. But like, for your own asses electorally, you better get stuff done, because this is a crisis and you need to spend on behalf of people.
Right. But don't you guys think that the American people sent 50 Democratic senators and 50 Republican senators as a message where they were basically saying, we don't want anything to get done?
Yeah, it's a team of rivals.
That I'm joking, but that is what I've seen some of these, these politicians say. Like, the American people sent 50 Republicans and 50 Democratic senators, and the message is that they want to see some bipartisan compromise. That's not the message. That wasn't the message. What happened was you had just enough people on the right and just enough people on the left saying, we want what we want. And that's what happened.
Well, 41 million more people that voted for the, or at least are represented by the Democratic senators. So
right, because the senators from the Republicans, from the states that sent Republicans, have less people, and unfortunately, the Senate is set up where everyone has equal representation. So the 200,000 people who live in one of the least populated states have the same amount of representation as the 10 million people who voted for one senator in one city in one state. Like,
that's garbage.
40 million. The Democrats now, with that 50-50 split, represent 40 million more Americans than the Republicans. I mean, that is a staggering statistic. And so the point about filibuster is like, that rule that isn't going to change in the very foreseeable future about the makeup of the Senate, that's already stacked in the Republicans' favor. Maybe eliminate one of them that they've used for years and years at this point to stymie anything good for happening for people.
You know what? We have this whole 1619 project, and this awareness of the structural inequality, particularly on race lines in this country. A good casualty of that for this moment would be to claim the filibuster. Let's get rid of that. All right, we don't need New York Times. I mean, look, people can read the New York Times if they want, but what we need is structural change, not just structural information or information about the structure that's oppressing us. Remove it. Let's bring this knowledge that we have now, that apparently even all liberals like to, tout. Let's actually do something with it.
Yeah, do better, Bernie.
Yeah, Bernie, this is all your fault.
Yeah,
Bernie.
Look, he's the man. We get it. He's the man. I'm just I don't.
Filibuster's got to go. It's simple. We
should be able to criticize the people that we like when they aren't living up to everything they could be doing.
100%. I mean, and do it in a targeted, smart way, as opposed to I'm going to set a flamethrower to the progressive movement way.
Close Photoshop, Bernie. Stop creating all those memes of yourself in your mittens and logging into your 100 different Twitter accounts you've set up to pretend to be various different people, tweeting them out to make it seem like there was some sort of organic pro-Bernie meme sent out yesterday. And get to work, Bernie. God.